Yes, welcome to the Man United Agenda, and unusual, it's 6 o'clock, not 9 o'clock. So we didn't flip the 9 to a 6 on its head. And yes, unusual as well, we got a special guest, someone we haven't seen for a long, long time. It's Mr. B. How are you, Mr. B? Who's this guy down here, Mr. B? Do you recognise him?
My son.
Yes, yeah, how do you, Dad? You good?
Oh, good, son.
Been a while. I like the introduction. And usually we've got someone who's very unusual here.
You've been a stranger, and I will say this.
Right? Hang on a minute. No.
Okay.
Because we're gonna go into it. I love to blow you guys up on the messages and that, right? Because on Monday we had a conversation me and you a few weeks ago, and about doing it about messaging. Message me in the morning, right? And I said to you, like, this is 2 weeks ago. Next Wednesday, 7 p.m. This is me. That's perfect. Yeah, I'll book you in. Top man, this is me. Do me a favor, and drop me a message Wednesday morning. No problem. The following Wednesday, 3 o'clock, I've still not heard anything from you, right? So the message to remind me is gone. And then I had to say, because we were filming, I said, is it all right to do it next week instead? Yeah, no problem. So I tried again. Do me a favor. Drop me a message next Wednesday to remind me and confirm, today. 2 minutes past 3. I don't get any message. I just get a StreamYard link. Like, no, hi, how's it going? What's happening? Sorry, I forgot to message you. I just get this. Just some link. Hang on, where is it? There. That's it. Where is it?
Can I just add, right? I'm being ribbed all week from these guys as well. And now Jay's come on to the show to rib me as well. Jay, I'm going to give it to you. You were supposed to come on last week, but you let us down to go on some TV show.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Do you know
What's all that about?
No, there's no
excuse.
Get
your priorities right, man.
I know, man. It was, I didn't really want to, It was the overlap, and I had to go on there. And you know what? I said to him, I've got the United Agenda. And Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher are like, listen, you can't be going on that show with that Mr. B. He's always chatting nonsense about us. Right? You're not going on with him, are you? Oh, no. Come on. Do us a favour. Come on our little channel for a bit. So I said,
we'll come on to that real soon about that. Because I watched the show and I thought, kind of interesting. I wanted to ask you a few questions about that as well.
Yeah, man.
But just to add to this storyline that we had about me not making the call in the morning, when I did speak to Jay today, he said, oh, why didn't you contact me this morning? I told you to contact me this morning to remind me. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm in the States. It is morning here. And he just come on to the show and he actually said, where are you filming from? Like, I'm in the States. Oh, my.
Right. You've proper. You made me sound like the right diva there. Like I just replied to him, why didn't you remind me in the morning? Like, I didn't say it like that, right? I said, because it's you and I love you, I'll let you off for not reminding me in the morning. Laughing emoji, yeah? And then you put, I'm flying back from the States. It's morning here, right? You got to understand something, right? Omondi, Mr. B can back me up here. There's a reason I work in YouTube, yeah? I'm not the brightest. I'm not the smartest, right? This is why I've chosen the career path that I've chosen, yeah? I'm a simple man for simple things, and it works for me, this platform, yeah? So when you put that, I was already trying to do something else anyway. So I'm multitasking something. Oh, he's flying back from the States. So when I saw you and your thing there, I was like...
He's green screen.
2-1.
He's on a stopover somewhere from the States.
You've got some time during the show to get us both back if you want to. I know you will.
Well, don't worry. I will take up that option. I'll say that offer. I'll grab that offer with both hands. You know me by now.
All right, we're going to do a few comments. Big up to Bath Time in the house. Big up DK Wilson, giving away all the way from where in the States, Mr. B?
Oh, Chattanooga.
Today.
Where's Chattanooga?
It's a running joke.
Somewhere near Houston.
Is
it? No, Houston. No, it's not. Near Chicago somewhere.
Oh, is it a real place?
Yeah. I bought a pair of trainers from there when I went over to
a real place. It's not Harry Potter. No, it's a magical world that we've invented.
Big up to Jamie. How you doing, Jamie? Welcome to the agenda. He's talking about the title of the show, which we were saying, was it the bench sub play, get rid of?
Keep selling. Come on, Omondi, get with it.
Look, I've been at work all day. I'm not used to these 6 o'clock starts. Hey, Darius, said DK Wilson, asking about Porter video. They're having a little chat about that. Omondi Texas, are you what you expect someone to send to an escort? Okay.
Wow.
JR saying, I'm playing hard to get. All right, enough about that. I want to say hi to the newbies. Amaya, how do you pronounce it?
Amaya's done a bit of writing for us on Stretford Paddock. Legend.
Respect. Thank you very much for joining us today, guys. And repping United. Thank you very much. Vincent Bullock, regular United attender.
I've got to say, Vincent, thank you very much for your tweet yesterday. I wish we had got it 20 minutes earlier, but we've got Kambala on the background now. So next time we think he's going to play, we can put him in and not leave a space with no facing. Thanks, Vincent.
All right, just a little intro. Let's go back 1 week.
What was that? So basically, thanks for your text. We've got Kabbalah on the background. What?
So we did our solo 11 yesterday, and we lost our mind because 5 minutes before the show, we knew Martinez wasn't playing, and we don't have a picture of. We don't have a I don't know what you would call it, like a GIF of Cambuella. So we had to leave an empty space, and I'm sure we didn't even put him in the team in the end. We had 3 defenders and then carried on to midfield and forwards. So I'm just thanking our IT guy for sending me one in yesterday. To be fair,
thank you, because that felt like half a conversation, and I needed to know what was going on. So you can continue.
It's been a long time. Let's go back a week, Jay. Tell us all about going on the Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher show, because it's a different kind of setup, isn't it? You're not in the studio like this, like we are now with StreamYard or whatever we're doing. You actually attended the studio. Where was it? How does it feel going on a show like that, representing? Do you think you get time to talk enough on the show there? Do they prep you beforehand? Just tell us all about it. How did it go down for you?
Did you have to wear makeup?
No, God, good question.
I don't mind that. Like, if it had said, put a bit of anti-shine on my head or whatever, because it's when you're on camera, we have, the dance. I wouldn't have minded that, but we didn't have to. Basically, as a channel, we've been on the overlap quite a lot. Adam McCall is our usual guy that we send down there, and then Joe Smith likes doing it as well. Sometimes when they need to, or if Adam's not available, but both Adam and Joe are away at the minute, so. It felt to me, Steve's not about as well. And it felt to me like to go on there, and I've got no qualms about doing it. It's not really something that I particularly revel in doing or enjoy. It's like as an experience and as a one-off, and as the first time, it was good. But I'm always a bit wary of arguing with rival fans and how that can play out sometimes. And I feel like it's on me a bit where I'm having to watch what I say and just make me, not say anything too controversial or whatever. And I don't feel I can fully relax in those scenarios. So I've never really been too keen to do it. I got offered the opportunity a few years ago and I was like, no, I'll let someone else do it. But this time around, because like the other lads weren't available, I said, yeah, why not? We'll do it. It's good for the channel. And I don't mind, sort of being given that opportunity. I'm grateful for it. I'm very lucky. I've spoken to Gary Neville a few times when I used to report. I've done a few interviews with him. I don't know him. I've done a little bit with Jamie Carragher once for CBS as well. So I had a little bit of experience with him. But it's weird because, like you say, it's a big setup, big studio. When we got there, and it was quite weird because they had I think about 8, 9 or 10 fans facing Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville who were on the couch, and then they had another sort of section behind them to their right with just fans who were just observing. So the fans that I was sat with facing the lads were taking part, and then the others were in the corner. There's still a little bit more to come out as well because we shot a bit of the Liverpool preview stuff as well. So that'll be probably out tomorrow, Friday, I should say. So being a United fan, there's a lot of the conversation was about United, about Liverpool. Obviously, that game had just taken place. So there was a few bits to me which I quite enjoyed. I had a lot more I could have said, a lot more I'd be given time that I would have said. But I quite enjoyed it. The Liverpool fan who was sat next to me, a girl called Abby, she was quite chill. She was all right. We chatted before we started filming. There was a City fan on there, Ollie, who was sound, because I was a bit wary because last time, I think when Adam been on, him and the City fan had gone toe-to-toe, so I was sort of ready. I was preparing myself, drinking Red Bull in the morning, doing my shadow boxing, listening to, let's get ready to rumble and all that, let's have it. But when I got there, it weren't really like that, and everyone got along, the fans were sort of chatting. So yeah, it was good, and the studio set up there, obviously second to none, as you'd expect. It's no expense spared. And in terms of like arguing, there wasn't really much arguing. There's a little bit of back and forth with me and Jamie Carragher. There was a little bit of back and forth with me and the City fan and Liverpool fan at one point, but nothing major. There wasn't really much needle, and I felt quite fortunate to be going on there at the time I did, because we just beaten Liverpool. Had we lost to Liverpool, it would have been harder. It would have been much more difficult, because I would have had Jamie Carragher giving it me, the Liverpool fan buzzing. I'd have been deflated anyway. But it was a pretty good time to go there, to be honest with you. Yeah, it felt all right. But like I say, there's still a little bit more to come out. And they did one thing which I hate, but everyone does this whenever you go on like a show or a podcast or a channel where there's rival fans on. They always ask you to do a combined 11. And I hate that. I hate doing combined 11s, because I think it's like a real no-win situation. Because if you like a proper United fan and you put loads of United players in, everyone's like, oh, you're deluded. And if you try and be like objective, people give you grief and whatever. So I think it's not come out yet, but there's a combined 11 with me, my Liverpool and United combined 11. I think that'll probably
when's it being released?
Social. I think that'll probably come out just before the Liverpool game, maybe Friday or Saturday. Okay. But I'll be getting. If you look at the combined 11, right, you'd think United were 10 points clear at the top of the table after my combined 11. You'd think we had the best team in the world.
Yeah.
So I'll just give you a little heads up on there. But no, it was all good, man. It was a good experience, and I enjoyed it.
I must say they get good numbers. It's a popular show. I really enjoy it as well. But to see you on there, I was really shocked to say, "Oh my God, there's Jay!" And
yeah,
Jay's on it. You know,
it's a bit weird, isn't it? Because like that show's been going for a little while. We've obviously been on it quite a lot as a channel, but I've never done it, and I obviously do a lot for the channel. And there's a lot of people like, "Wow, why are you?" I'm glad someone's pointed this out. I'm going to explain this. Bath Simon says, "I really rated it when you held your paddle up for Carragher as a better pundit than Neville." I'm glad you spotted that, because I thought they might ask me about that, because as a United fan, they might go, "Why have you put your?" But the reason is, right, Jamie Carragher is Jamie Carragher. He's a Liverpool fan. Well, he is now. He used to be an Evertonian, but he's a Liverpool fan, and you can tell when he commentates he's a Liverpool fan. And I'm not saying I'm his biggest fan or whatever, but I kind of respect that. I hate the fact that Gary Neville's so objective. I hate the fact that he always praises City and he always praises Liverpool, and he's always like, so balanced. I don't want to hear that from Gary Neville. You know what I mean? I prefer the Gary Neville who used to be kissing his badge in front of Liverpool fans and giving it all that. And Gary Neville is already 8 Scousers. So that was why I did that. But they didn't ask me about it. I thought, I'm not going to labour the point. But yeah, I
must have missed that. So just explain, how did they asked you to compare the two pundits?
Yeah, they tried something different. I think they had a paddle, so like it had like green and red. Obviously green for like I agree, red for disagree. So they'd ask you questions like, City Liverpool rivalry is the best rivalry the Premier League's ever seen, so I put red up, and then you might have seen me arguing the case that I put Arsenal and United Chelsea above it, and then one of them was Jamie Carragher was a better pundit, or I can't remember how they worded it. Jamie Carragher's a better pundit than Neville, and I agreed with it purely because of the reasons I've mentioned. Not that I prefer Jamie Carragher, just because I wish Gary Neville was a bit more sort of pro United and just a little bit more like a fan rather than a professional pundit. But they didn't ask me about it, and I thought, I'm not going to explain it.
And what do you reckon, Mr. P? Who's a better pundit for you? Because I think Gary Neville, I like Gary Neville. He talks a lot of sense, and I do prefer him being professional than being biased.
No, I prefer bias. He played for our team, bruv. Are you serious?
Captain of United.
Yeah, well, there you go. He should be big enough.
Lifelong fan.
Yeah, he should be giving it to everybody else. You know, don't give Man City props that they don't deserve. Even if they deserve it, don't give it to them. And let it be known that he's a Man United fan. But yeah, he's right. He's too vanilla.
Every sentence when he's commentating on Manchester City should start with Manchester City on the ball now, who are obviously facing 115 charges. That is how you should commentate on Manchester City when you're a biased United person, yeah? Not like Manchester City with a great win. It should be Manchester City who are obviously facing 115 charges with a big win today. We'll be hearing from the Manchester City manager, Pep Guardiola. Manchester City, of course, facing 115 charges. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear that constantly. When it's about Liverpool, it's Liverpool obviously won 1 Premier League title in the last 34 years. Liverpool on the ball now. Yeah, Liverpool.
All right, let's just catch up because we haven't had you on for so long. Ten Hag, I mean, a lot of the channels out there, big community with all these channels now. A lot of the channels the majority of them are saying Ten Hag out. They don't like the style of play. They think he's got no style of play. They're disappointed with the results that we've had, even though we've had a good 2024, I imagine. Where are you at with this, Jay? I mean, with Ten Hag and Mr. B. I mean, you can we just confirm, Mr. B? Are you still Ten Hag in as well?
Yeah, listen, man, I've still got my until that picture comes down.
Yeah.
Nobody can't tell me nothing. He's still up there with his balder head than me, mate. He ain't going nowhere.
So Jay, where are you at with this, man? Because you must have heard all the chat. You go to games. This must be the big topic at the moment. Ten Hag in or out? And how do you assess his season so far?
I've been very sort of supportive of Erik ten Hag ever since he came in. Before he came in, I wanted him over Pochettino. Made that pretty clear on the channel and on socials. I thought he was the better of the two managers. And I was pleased when we got him. And after that initial couple of games, obviously Brentford and the Brighton game, I thought we could start to see what he was about. And I like the players that he brought in. I like the results that we were getting and the fact that he took the cups seriously. We did well in all the cups, obviously winning the Carabao, getting to the FA Cup final, and obviously getting past Barcelona in the Europa League. I know it didn't really work out. So there was a lot to like about him. Turning Old Trafford into a fortress was great. I was going there and watching United beat Barcelona, beat City, beat Arsenal, beat Liverpool. It was great. Obviously, some of the aways weren't. Andrew Williams saying he's an Erik ten Hag apologist. I'm not an apologist for him. I liked him and I've backed him, and then I've given him sort of leeway this season because of the injuries he's had. Because I think that even though we have missed a lot of players, it's also the nature of the players we've missed. We missed Martinez, who's been vital for Erik ten Hag for a big chunk of the season. Mason Mount is his marquee signing. We haven't really seen him much. Even Højlund's been out for a few games where we've been over-reliant on him. And I think that you've got to give him a little bit of room there. And I've always said, look, I think he deserves a chance under the new regime. I think he deserves a chance under Ineos. I said that on the overlap when you mentioned me being on there. I said I'd like to see him being given the opportunity there, get his players back, this new structure in place. Let's do it. But I'm not going to lie to you. It's been difficult. I'm not going to lie to you that even the last sort of few days since the Brentford game have been hard because it's that performance against Brentford sort of highlighted the faults we've got this season and highlighted some of the faults in Erik ten Hag, where you're going up against a team with less resources who had their own injuries. Don't forget, they had a makeshift back four, Brentford.
Yep, true.
Let's not forget that. And they played us off the park. They did. And you can look at injuries. You can look at the fact that a lot of key players aren't available. Look at the internationals or whatever. Brentford had players that went away to internationals. Ivan Toney obviously played for England. They had a lot of other players that played. They've got a lot of Scandinavians and players from around the world that played. And I think that, you can't just go, well, they had internationals, we had internationals, we had injuries. When they had the same, and they haven't got anywhere near the caliber of players we have, in my opinion. And yet, it was like one team looked like a well-drilled team with a sense of purpose, sense of belief, good tactics, knew what they're doing. And another team looked like they just met this morning. Yeah. It was a terrible performance, that. And I think there's been too many of them this season, like there has. So I'm not going to just blindly defend Erik ten Hag for everything. And I think he's in trouble. I'll be honest with you. I think that if we lose to Chelsea, who have got their own problems, let's be honest, but they're sat in 12th for a reason, but still capable of getting a result. And if we lose to Liverpool, especially if we lose to Liverpool badly at Old Trafford, then I think he's in all sorts of trouble. And I don't think he'll get sacked after the Liverpool game, but I think the decision by Ineos might be made, and they might go, look, he's not our guy, because the FA Cup is one thing, and obviously we're in a semi-final of the FA Cup and a winnable semi-final as well. But if you're getting beat week in, week out of the league, if we end this week with 13 league defeats, I think he'll struggle to keep his job. I really do.
Do you, and Jay? A lot of people have been talking about style of play. Do you think the fact that we've actually lost players, we say key players, Martinez obviously one, but that I don't see that. I think our midfield is our biggest issue, and he does. I don't think we've had a good game, a game where I've sat up and said we were good this season. We've spent more time moaning about how we've been playing. Do you think even if he stays next season, he's still going to be able to implement the style that because obviously there's no way the style that he's playing this season is the style that he wants to play.
No, I mean, you saw it at Ajax, you saw the style that he had there. We saw it in glimpses last season. We saw it sort of a little bit. I don't think we saw it completely. But this season, we haven't really seen it at all. I think there's been 1 or 2 games that I thought we played well. I thought the game against Everton at Goodison, I mean, not many. Obviously, the Liverpool game was a bit more blood and thunder, but I thought it was a good performance. Good spells anyway. It seemed to be good spells, didn't it? There was there was a spell against Wolves where we looked like we were going to absolutely batter them, and then we let them back into the game. There was a spell against Liverpool where we looked pretty comfortable. We looked like we had a game plan that was working. We let them back into the game. So it doesn't feel like we've had sort of good performances for 90 minutes. It feels like we've had some games where we've had decent spells, and that's not okay. And I think that, in answer to your question, if he does get the opportunity next season, I think he's going to have to hit the ground running in terms of his style. He's going to have to. I don't think that the Ineos are going to wait around and give him another season of underperforming, or even if it gets to Christmas and United are where we, 6 or whatever. I think he could be in serious trouble then if he does survive, because I think you can get away with it if you've not got the results, but the style is there. Like I watched Brighton play Liverpool at the weekend and they lost, but they played well. And it's at Anfield, and you go, okay, it's a difficult ground. Brighton stuck to the philosophy of De Zerbi. They were passing it around nicely. They were working some good chances, and they were maybe a little bit unlucky not to get some out of the game. They created quite a few chances. But if you get results, sometimes last season when we played Liverpool at Old Trafford, that wasn't a total football Ajax style performance. It was David De Gea going long, hitting them on the break with the likes of Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, and we got a result. But we don't care about the style if you get results. If you're beating Liverpool, you're happy. But if you're losing games and there's a style there, you can stomach it. But if you're losing games and there's no style, then you're on a hide into nothing. And that's the issue you've got this season. There's been too many games where you go, well, what type of football are we trying to play? I don't know. I can't tell. And also, we ain't getting results. So that's why I think he's got to, if he is given an opportunity next season, I don't think he's just going to be given this sort of blank canvas of, you've got to the end of the season, fill your boots. I think he'll be under the cosh. I really do.
Well, Jay, looking at bath time, he's asking here, what does the manager have to do for Jay to think, to say it's best he parts his way? So basically, between now and 8-9 games to go, FA Cup as well, what does the manager have to do to really sort of hang around and get the fans back on side?
I mean, if we lose badly against Liverpool, you'll probably hear me sort of losing faith in him. You probably will. I probably would be like, if I go to Anfield, if I go to Old Trafford on Sunday, and we get battered 3 or 4-0, I'm not going to be coming back on here going, Ten Hag's the guy. Trust me on that one. And I feel like Ineos will feel the same. I think you got to remember as well, Ineos go to the games, like Dave Brailsford's at the games, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's at the games. You know the Glazers, they weren't there. And if you're at the game, if you're there on Sunday and United get battered and you can hear the fans have turned on the manager, the football's atrocious, the results are bad, and we ain't getting to into the Champions League next season, then are you going to stick with him? I don't think you are. So I think in terms of answering the question, what's it going to take for me to say, get rid? I think a really sort of humbling by Liverpool will probably be enough for me. I know that sounds quite reactionary, but there are rivals for a reason, man, especially after we've just beat him in the FA Cup. You've got to turn up again, man. You can't just go, well, we beat him in the FA Cup, that's it, job done now. If we get beaten by Liverpool and help them win that title to catch us on the number of titles, then I think Erik ten Hag is going to be in serious trouble, not just by the fans, but by the board as well.
What I don't get, Jay, is why is the manager always the one who has to accept accountability? We saw, contrast the 2 games, Liverpool FA Cup, following game against Brentford. Against Liverpool, put the effort in. The players put the effort in, and they matched them for energy and desire. Against Brentford, they could be accused of not matching them for energy and desire. What's that got to do with the manager?
I hear you. I think it's not like, it's not one or the other. It can be both. I think you can look at a manager and say, you need to be getting a tune out of these players, and you look at the players as well and saying you should be performing regardless of who's in the dugout. It doesn't matter whether it's Erik ten Hag, whether it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, whether it's Jose Mourinho. If you step onto that pitch representing Manchester United Football Club, I expect every player to give you as much, energy and effort is the minimum requirement for any footballer, especially when playing for Manchester United. But I just feel that when you look at, I don't feel like Erik ten Hag has lost the team. I don't feel like he's lost the dressing room. Like you look at some managers and you think their heads have dropped, the players' heads have dropped, they're not playing for him. I don't think that's the case. I think if you look at the fact that We got a goal in the 96th minute. I mean, it was a smash and grab. I'm not saying we deserved to take the lead, but there was an element of we kept going. We kept going in a Liverpool game. It didn't look like everyone's head had dropped to me. And I've seen that in the past with managers where you look at the players and you think they're not listening to this manager, or they're not performing for it. We saw it with Jose in particular. I don't see that, but I think the manager has to take some responsibility as well. I think he has to say, look, yes, the players can do better, but also ultimately he's the one picking a team. He's the one with the tactics, and he's the one that now has been in the job for a little while, hasn't he? I know it's not long, but in football manager terms, it is. So it's not like he's new. He's been in this job for, 20 months or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's got to take some responsibility.
Do you think, obviously, the whole team is playing for him? Do you think there's individual players who aren't playing for him?
I think there's individual players who aren't playing well, who've been having a poor season. I think you see the same names keep getting brought up for a reason. I think when you look at the criticism that's levelled at his team, I think Marcus Rashford's one I always see people criticising and saying, his performances haven't been consistent enough. And at times his body language isn't great. And I think there's some truth to that as well. You look at, I know he's been injured a lot. I don't think Casemiro's got anywhere near the player he was last season, for example. Bruno's another one, yeah. Bruno's another one who can be very erratic. I like Bruno. I think he's a good player, but again, he's someone who, at times when things aren't going well, he can be. I think with Bruno, it's a weird one. I don't think his head necessarily drops. I think it's like he loses his composure. I think it's almost like the other way around. He's too excitable. He's too giddy. He's too angry. He's trying things he shouldn't be trying. Shooting from silly distances and trying 90-yard passes when you don't need to, and giving the ball away because he's trying too much and arguing constantly with the ref. And I feel like at times he needs to rein that in a little bit and show a little bit more composure. But no, I don't think he's having a great season by any stretch of the imagination. I think that you can almost count on one hand players you can say are having a good season overall. I think if you say Kobe Mainu or Rasmus Højlund,
I like Kobe, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's having a good season. I don't think there's any disputing that. I think he's having a great season. I think Rasmus Højlund, I know he had a little goal drought, but I think he's having a good season overall. I think Onana, I think for me, has turned around a lot of his form, and he's
incredible.
Considering where we were after we got knocked out of the Champions League to where we are now, I think he's had a massive improvement. I think Diogo Dalot's having a good season.
Yeah,
I think there are players you look at and go, they're having a good season, but it's not
That's
a lot.
Only 4.
That's what I'm saying.
Two questions. All right. Two questions.
I don't like slagging off United players. If you got more, I'll happily have that conversation. You can argue Garnacho on the whole's having a good season, but there's not many where you go, he's having a really good season.
Jay, who leads the league in possessions won in the final third for Man United? For the whole league, but a Man United player leads the league in possessions won in the final third, which suggests this guy's working socks off to get the ball off the opposition.
Is it Højlund?
It's Anthony. 1.6 turnovers a game. Is that enough for you? Is that
not really?
Because you want a balance of energy and work rate with skill and ability as well. Anthony gets the pelters, but he's doing well there. He's working hard.
What's the sample size there though for Anthony? How many games has he played for United in the Premier League?
I don't have that sort of data.
Right. This is like, because I heard this. It's how you look at the data and how you sort of scratch beneath the surface. Because remember this time last season, people were going, Anthony Martial, goals per 90 minutes, he's top of the league. Because you remember he came on against City, he scored a couple of goals, he was scoring goals, but then you look scratching his surface, he's injured all the time. He's having games where he's anonymous. Like with Anthony, okay, in possessions won in the final third, he's leading United. But I'm looking at him now, we'll just pull up some stats. In the Premier League this season, I mean, he's gone from someone who was playing for us, who was getting picked, who was starting, to someone who the manager doesn't trust anymore. And why doesn't the manager trust him? Why is he not starting? Why is he not starting a player he spent 80 million quid on, who he had at Ajax for 2 seasons? Why is he getting 1 minute against Fulham, 15 minutes against City, 7 minutes against Everton, 30 minutes against Brentford? Why is that happening? 2 minutes against West Ham. Why is he doing that? Why doesn't the manager have faith in this player?
I saw an article as well about Casemiro, and they were suggesting that he's not made out, he's not fit enough to play in the Premier League with the demands that we have playing, the energy we have to match sort of Brentford and Liverpool. There's a suggestion that certain players are not at the races.
Here's one for you. I will get on to Casemiro. And I don't want to hate on Andy. I think he's an easy target, but I'm not a big fan. I'm not going to pretend I am. How many goals and assists has he got in the Premier League this season? There's a stat that I'm interested in for an 80 million.
I know he scored a couple with his right foot recently. Apart, so maybe 2 goals, maybe
in the
one.
Premier League,
probably.
In the Premier League, in the Premier League, he's got none. He's got no goals. He's got no assists in the Premier League this season. Like, he's got a goal against Newport and he's got a goal against Liverpool in the FA Cup. Now, I'm not knocking him for scoring goals, but if you've got a player and you've got a stat there, you're telling me, look, Jay, he's top of the league in the final third, possessions won. That's amazing. That's brilliant. How many assists and goals has he got? Yeah. How many assists has he got? None. How many goals has he got? None. Right, okay. Like, if I'm looking at a player who cost me 80 million quid and I'm looking at a player who's an attacker for Manchester United and he hasn't got 1 goal in the system, we're in April.
Yeah.
I'm worried about that, bro. I am. Now, listen, I celebrated as hard as anyone when he scored against Liverpool. Fair play to the kid, yeah? He kept going. He's got his head up and he got a goal. Well done. But we can't ignore the fact you've got a player there who, in the Premier League, has become almost, not quite, but almost useless to you. Almost. Because one stat, the little thing you said about the possession thing, which I get, I said it when he came on against Wolves. I said, he'll keep hold of the ball, hasn't he? He's good at keeping hold of the ball. And he gave it away and he scored. Like, that, you know, it's the moments as well. Because I think he, to be fair to him against Brentford, he did well when he trapped back and he did enough at the far post to put the player off. I forget who it was with the header. So he has traits that I like. He will trap back. He will get stuck in. He will, you know, get on the ball a lot. But I just feel that, and I know it's a basic argument, I just feel for a Manchester United attacker in 23 appearances, whatever it is, albeit some of them are cameos, you have to have goals and assists in your column. Do you know what I mean? These are Dwight McNeil numbers.
Here's a guy who's on my page with this question, Maya. He's saying, Jay, honest question, how many managers are we going to go through before we start trusting a process and seeing it through? I agree. All this thing about Ten Hag out, we've got to have a bit more patience. He had a good season last season. Granted, you mentioned injuries. That's an issue. And I'm going to stop you right there before you answer that. Let's talk about injuries because there's a press conference today. We got worries in defence. And luckily, we've got 3 players in defence coming back in. We trained today that with Varane, Evans and Maguire. Before you answer this question about the process and everything else, why do you think we're getting so many injuries? Because there's been allegations that we're overplaying, overtraining. We discussed this yesterday. I'm sure you've had discussions about this. Is it something we're doing wrong? Is it the medical staff? Is it the players? I said the players need to take more responsibility away from the training ground and not to get injured as well. So what's your thoughts on the injury issue? Because everyone's having a go at the moment.
I mean, in all honesty, I don't think we know. No one really knows. You can speculate and you can have, educated guesses.
Sorry to interrupt you, Jay. The manager knows because he was asked today at the press conference and he said they know about it and they're working on it internally.
But again, what does that mean? Do you know what I mean? We know about it. Well, obviously you know about it because you can see you've got no players available and we're working on it internally. Well, obviously you are. You're not going to be ignoring it. What does that, I get it. There's only so much you can say. But in answer to your question, I don't know what it is that's causing all these injuries. I just know for me, there's been some decisions that haven't helped. That you look at and you go, okay, did we brush certain players back? That's probably not helped. Have we become over-reliant on certain players who are just never fit? That's probably not helped. Have we got a sort of a plan B when players aren't fit? Have we got a good balance in the squad? Are we overusing certain players? Has there been times when perhaps we should have used players more sparingly? I don't know. I think there's a little bit of all of the above, to be honest with you. But for whatever reason it is, you can't deny that we've been absolutely ravaged by injuries this season. And going into this game again without Martinez, it's just frustrating, man. And Shaw as well. Shaw's another player who last season was one of the best left backs in the world, really. If you look at some of his performances, and this season he's been out. It's sad to see. Just going back to your other point as well, Omondi, about sticking with the manager, trusting the process. And I get it. And you look at Arsenal, they're feeling the benefit because they there you go, Amaya's question. But the trouble is, right, it's like when you're dating, yeah? If you're dating someone and she's the wrong person for you, just stick with her because you've had 3 girlfriends already in the last 5 years and you're sick of changing your girlfriend? Or do you try and meet someone who you actually love? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, yes, we can't keep getting rid of managers, but if we've not got the right manager, we can't just stick with him because we've sacked Jose Mourinho and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Louis van Gaal and David Moyes. That's not a reason to stick with someone if he's the wrong person. If he's not good enough, he's not good enough. Now, I'm not saying Eric Ten Hag is. I've already had people calling me an Eric Ten Hag apologist. I'm not saying that he's the wrong person, but I don't think we can just say, well, we keep sacking managers, so we've got to stop sacking managers now if he's the wrong guy. Because if he is the wrong guy, you've got to move him on. Look at it post-Busby. We had Frank O'Farrell, you had Wilf McGuinness, you had Ron Atkinson, you had Dave Sexton, you had Tommy Docherty. Were they the right guys? Did we need to stick with one of them for 10 years to give them the chance? Probably not. They weren't up to it.
There's problems in society today.
We found Sir Alex Ferguson who was up to it. And I know people go, well, we stuck with him when he went through a rough patch, and we did. But it's whether the manager's good enough. That's the ultimate question, not this whole thing about you can't keep sacking managers. Because whilst I agree with the sentiment, I think the fact of the matter is you have to look at the individual and say, is he good enough? Now, at the moment, I would still stick with Ten Hag. But like I said earlier, my enthusiasm is waning, and it might have changed if we lose badly the next 2 games.
Is that stubbornness? Is that stubborn? Is that being stubborn? Because I've been told I'm just ignorant and I'm stubborn because I want to stick with him. No, I've been called a lot worse, to be fair.
No,
but
like you might see something there, Mr. B, like where you see something that you like about Eric Ten Hag and you believe he's the right man for the job. You might look at what Arsenal did with Arteta. Arteta finished 8th. Sorry, 5th, right. 8th and 8th.
Yeah.
If he'd have been sat, right, that second season when he finished 8th, no one would have questioned it. No one would have gone, what are Arsenal doing? They would have gone, okay, makes sense. The guy's been a flop. But they didn't, because they obviously saw something in what he was doing behind the scenes, in what he was trying to do on the football pitch, and they got it. Is it the same for United? I'm not so sure. I don't know.
I mean, the thing is, Arteta had maybe power to get rid of the players that he wanted to get rid of. Aubameyang, he wanted to get rid of, and he was able to get rid of him. I'm not sure Ten Hag or the club, maybe, because if you look, he wanted, I'm not going to say he wanted Maguire out, but Maguire would gladly have left in the summer transfer window. McTominay, there was rumours that maybe he could have gone, and they still stayed. He hasn't been able to, I think, until managers are able to get rid of the players that they want to get rid of, I think that's going to be even more headache for Ten Hag, because he's got to play. I mean, McTominay, he's playing by default. To me, he's playing that because he shouldn't have been here. So is that?
I get your point, because I think of the team that started against Brentford, 7 of them were Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or before signings. I think like 7 of that first team were players that he inherited, and then another 2 in Mainu and Garnacho, I think, obviously come through the ranks. So it's not a completely Eric Ten Hag team in terms of he's bought all these players and he's got all these players playing. A lot of these players that he has bought, like some Mount, I know he came on, but he didn't start. Martinez, again, he came on, but he didn't start. Who else is there? I think that might be it, to be honest with you. Eriksen's obviously a fringe player now. But there's a couple of players there that he's missing that he obviously would have liked to have played. But part of the issue with that is, and I get it, is I go back to what I said when we started. I understand that he's missing a lot of players. I understand that we've got injuries. I understand that this isn't his team as such. But I still look at that performance at Brentford in particular and think that was terrible. And he's got to do better. And he's got to. Even though I've been pro Ten Hag and I still believe in him, still staying stick with him, he can't afford to have many more games like that, because that was woeful. And we've seen it too often this season where De Zerbi comes to Old Trafford with Brighton, plays us off the park, gets a win. Yeah. Was it Roy Hodgson? Comes with Palace and gets a win. Yeah. He mad. What's your man's name at Bournemouth? Iola. He comes to Old Trafford and they dominate us. They absolutely dominate us. Marco Silva, who I don't even rate, comes to Old Trafford, plays us off the park. That's not all right. That's not okay. You know, those managers aren't geniuses. A lot of them are bang average, in my honest opinion. Yet they come and see Old Trafford, and the schooling us, and that's not all right. So the manager's got to fix this because, like I said earlier, I know I'm a broken record, but I'm telling you now, if you go to Stamford Bridge and you host Liverpool and you lose both them games and you lose both games badly, you are going to be out of a job very soon. You just are. Ineos, like, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, whatever you think of him, I don't reckon he made 30 billion quid by being Mr. Nice Guy. I don't think that happened. I don't think he became Britain's richest man when he was born in a council house in Failsworth, or he lived in a council house in Failsworth, by being, you know, dead soft and easygoing. I reckon there's a hard-nosed element to this company. So I think if they're sat in the stands on Sunday watching Mo Salah score his third goal, I think your man's going to be in trouble. I just think he is, whether you like him or not. I just think he's going to be in serious trouble, unfortunately.
Crucial game this weekend. And obviously we're playing Chelsea at Stamford Bridge on Thursday as well. So as quickly, let's the title of the show, we would just ask you a little trivia thing here. I want to get your thoughts on this. Over to you, Mr. B, about, was it play, bench, or sell?
Yeah, it was just a couple of things. Obviously, we've waffled. You know, we're the king of the wafflers. But just out of a couple of players, let me just get my. If you had to keep, bench, or sell Rashford, Bruno, or Garnacho.
Horrible question.
Yeah, I know, it's a beautiful question. Yeah, it's a beautiful question.
Right, I'll explain myself. Because you give me an option there, the 3 players, right? Yeah. So, starters, I wouldn't want to sell any of them, yeah? I wouldn't, but I've got to because of the game. So I'll probably sell Marcus because you'll get decent money for him. And I think he's been a bit erratic. You probably get 80 million for him off PSG or whatever. You can use that to strengthen the squad, even though I don't want to sell him. I'd probably bench Garnacho because I think I'd start him on the whole, but given the choice, I'll bench him because I think from the bench he's a force. He is. And I'd probably keep Bruno because I think Bruno, for all his faults, he still plays every game. He still plays in a multitude of positions. He was in defence against the Scousers. And I still think he's a very good player. So even though that's a minging question, you could have made it a lot easier for me. That's my answer. I'll go with that one.
I know we're a bit time restricted here. We're going to wrap it up very soon, Jay. But obviously now I'm the quiz master. I'm inviting you to come and take on the challenge again.
Remember that guy? Is that Arsenal fan still about? Lost his head when I won. Do you remember him? Yeah. Follow me in that. What do you remember? He's like, he cheated. You knew them questions. How could I ask him a Brian McClure question when he's just been chatting to Brian McClure? Like it was, you know what I mean? Like this is mastermind or something.
But just to prove something, Jay, what we do now on the show, we have a picture round. I'm just going to throw up a few pictures for you. I just want you to give me the answer. Give me the name of the player. As simple as that.
This is going to be embarrassing now. My memory.
And you can have one clue throughout the whole 6 or 7 pictures there are. Okay. Yeah. First one. Let's go. Who's this?
Oh, it's not United players.
No, thanks. Jesus Christ.
Go on, give us a clue.
Ex-Liverpool right back.
It's not Rob Jones, is it?
It's Rob Jones. Well done. No more clues, by the way. Who's this?
I wasn't getting that.
Is it James Beater?
No. Do you know who's playing for?
Is it? I can't even see. Is it Southampton?
That's Sunderland.
Sunderland.
Oh, is it Tor and the Flop?
Yes, correct. Okay. Who's this?
Is that Mr. B? Back in the day when he had hair.
And actually, isn't that Rosina?
That's Mr. B playing for his local school. Hey.
Oh, God. That's 2-2. You're back to 2-2, Jay. You saved yourself.
Oh,
God.
I think someone's put in the chat, and I think they're right. You know.
Yeah, they're right. It's Mark Waters. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I remember him from his Liverpool days. Scored against us, didn't he? When we lost the lead to Leeds, I think.
Next one. Sorry, this is too funny. Next one. No typing in the comments, please. Give Jay a chance to answer this. Who's that?
Oh, even I know that one.
Who's he playing for?
Luton. Oh,
Even I know that one.
I don't know who that is. Can I have a guess?
Yeah.
And I know that this is gonna be wrong, man, but I'm gonna have to throw a guess out there. It's not Ricky Hill, is it?
No. He had a brother to play for Chelsea.
Steen, innit?
Brian Steen.
Oh, yeah, because he had Mark Steen and
yeah.
Oh, who's the other kid?
I got one.
Was it just two of them, or was there three of them?
There's two of them, I think. Oh, maybe there's three. Yeah, you could be right. Who's
That's
this?
Hulk, innit? That's Hulk.
Yep. Well done. And a couple more to finish up. Who's this great striker?
Oh, Batter Stuart, man.
Of course.
We almost got him as well. He's linked with United. Oh, Andrew Impey.
What? He's on a roll.
Oh no, he had a nose job as well, didn't he?
Did he really?
Nah, I'm not hating on him.
Oh, he did. Oh, he's taking
Yeah.
a Ricky.
Oh no. Oh, that's gonna
looks like his
bug me
nose
out.
needed it.
No, I know. Listen,
on,
I had a nose
Jay.
job. I can't say anything.
Spit it out. Who is it?
Oh, do you
Give
know
us a
what?
clue. Show us that you know who it is. What do you know about this guy?
Obviously, he played for Bolton Wanderers. What was his name, man? It's not David Lee. I want to say David Lee, but it's not him. It's another one. I can't remember. It's gone. Sorry. It was
Sasha Kurtic.
And
And finally, we're going with this one. Who's that?
Andy Sinton.
What? He's on fire. There you go. Just a sample, Jay. Just thought we'd just test you.
There was some good ones in there, man. Sasha Kurtic, man. I'm annoyed I didn't get that, you know. I'm sure
you said you gave an English name. You gave an English-speaking name.
Nah, I said it's not David Lee. When he was at Bolton, there was two wingers. I think he was one and David Lee was the other. I knew it weren't David Lee, but I couldn't remember the other one's name.
Okay, well, that's just a sample of the quiz. You're welcome to come on, Jay. At the moment, out of 18 questions, my brother's got 13 right, only 5 wrong. So, yeah, when you're ready, come and test us.
They're very sort of tilted towards yesteryear, though, aren't they? Like
black and white.
Yeah.
Jay, you might look young, but you're our generation. I know you're. I'm not.
Do you know what I mean? Was there anyone who's even still playing anymore in that in that list?
Mr. B still plays.
All of Mr. B school photo. It was like, you know what I mean?
I've got one more for you, Jay. One more. I want you to identify the third man, or going on the third man run in this one, and show some love as well.
Oh, there he is. Hey, Errol,
there he is.
the man himself, the legend.
Tell us about Errol again. I mean, Errol's the foundation of this show, no doubt about it. We went out the other night. We went and had Nando's together, met up with Errol. We all look happy and full.
Can I tell you something about Errol? Can I tell you a little behind the scenes little story about him? Yeah, like he sent my missus a message, right? And normally, if men are messaging my missus, I want to know about it and know why. But it was all good. And he said, because he wanted to buy me something, because he offered me to buy me something, because I come on the channel a lot, especially when you were starting, and he was like, oh, grateful, let me, give you something or get him. I was like, nah, man, I don't want anything off you. I enjoy doing it. Do you know what I mean? I support the channel and all that. It's not a drama. So he messaged my missus and said, can I get him something? Can I send it to you to give to Jay as like a gift, as a present, as a thank you? Because he wanted to say thank you and he knew I were having it. And I was like, nah, not at all. So yeah, he's a good guy, man. And I always remember with Errol, right? He sent me a message on Instagram. He reached out on Instagram, right? And he went, he's like, let me see if I can find a message somewhere. I should still have it in my Instagram, right? If you know about this, right? I've said this, I've told you this. And he sent me a message and he was like, oh, you're a big fan of what you do. We'd love to get you on the channel. We're just starting off a channel called The United Agenda. And we're a group of lads, group of passionate United fans. And we all watch Stretford Paddock. And it'd be an honor to get you on the channel. And, it'd be great. And I was like, I messaged him back and I was like, yeah, do you know what? Like, he seemed like a nice guy. I looked at your channel and I was like, yeah. And I'll come on, right? And he put, thank you so much, right? Thank you so much, yeah. And then he sent me a message and he said, hi, Joe. Hopefully you're keeping well. I was wondering if next weekend would work for you. And I was like, Joe, you've just sent me an essay telling me how much he loves me, right? Look at that. About how great I am and how much he watches me constantly. And then he went, hi, Joe. Well, I said, come on. Does next week work for you? Joe.
You know what, Jay? I will say this. I'll say this. You're always welcome to eat chicken with us.
Yes, man.
No doubt about it.
Do you know what? Like, I'd love to come down there when you're not flying off to the States. We'll have to meet you. Because you guys are good and you're good guys, and it was great when you came up to Manchester to the United game and got to meet you. But yeah, hopefully I'll be in London a little bit more. We're going to be down for Wembley, but I think I'm taking my lad, and I think it's going to be a fleeting visit for the Coventry game. But next time we're in London, we'll all meet up 100%.
Yeah, just want to say, we were discussing you around the table, weren't we, Mr. Bean? We're saying how grateful we are. You can do this voluntarily. You come and support the channel, and we really do appreciate it. And you're one of the brothers to us, always be. And like you say, always a place at the table at the Man United.
It's always a good laugh, man. It always is. And, keep doing what you're doing because you do it well. And it's always a top laugh on this channel. I always enjoy coming on it and having a good laugh. And it makes it less awkward at Christmas dinner around the table with me and Mr. B. Because it's not like over the turkey, like, where have you been, son? You've not been on the channel for 6 months. Do you know what I mean? What's going on? Me and your mum are unhappy with you. So it's like, it's happy days.
Oh, God. All right. Jay, just let us know where we can find you. Don't know. Not on Gary Neville's show. You do another show, don't you?
Yeah, listen, you know where to find me on Stretford Paddock. If you follow me on Stretford Paddock, follow these guys. Hit that subscribe button, man. Subscribe to the channel. Loads of good content. You guys are pounding out the content as well, man. You're always doing reaction stuff, preview stuff, the watch-along stuff, all that good stuff. So make sure, if you're not doing already, show these guys some love and support because they do it because they love Manchester United and they've got really good knowledge as well and good experience around football. So it's always good chatting to you guys. So yeah, don't worry about Stretford Paddock. Make sure you're subscribing to the United Agenda.
Okay, from Omondi or Yaba, from Jay, from Mr. B, and everyone in the comments, we're signing out. Don't forget, Mr. B's doing a watch along tomorrow.
Yeah, Chelsea. We're going to clap them up. I'm going to sit down here totally relaxed. Chelsea are trash. There's no way we don't. There's no way we don't. The Liverpool game, all right. I might have to sit there with a head on, but the Chelsea game, I'm going to sit there with my chest out. We can't lose to Chelsea tomorrow.
Just a reminder, we owe them because last time we went down there, remember Kirsty? We went outside the stadium with Kirsty to film for the Stretford Paddock as well.
They're up
after the game, and some of their fans pretended they were Man United fans, gave us about a 5-minute interview, and after about 5 minutes, they started laughing and joking and saying, we're really Chelsea, and giving us all abuse and all that. And Kirsty went mad. I had to hold her back. She was going to do something dread towards them. But anyway, let's go and get Chelsea tomorrow. Jay, thank you very much once again.
Always a pleasure.
Later, guys.